Ayan, hello. Wow, I'm back ulit. It is currently 7:11 p.m., June 17. So exactly one day after ko mag-record ng Valorant podcast, I'm recording again. May question dito sa Instagram and it said, "What do you do when you are frustrated?" So shout out kay Ate Nikki for asking this question. So ayun pala guys, kaya medyo hindi maganda or hindi maayos yung flow ng podcast or spontaneous lang siya. Kasi wala akong script. Like, I read this question just, 2 minutes ago. Tapos, I decided to turn off the fan and record. As in, yun na yun. Wala akong script or wala akong kahit ano. Basta, pag nagka-idea ako to answer any question sa Instagram, yun na yun. Record na, dire-diretso. So, super raw talaga nito and more of my ideas are not well thought of. So, ayan, disclaimer lang out there. So, what do I do when I feel frustrated? Ano ba yung mga bagay muna na nagpapa-frustrate sa akin? Siguro kapag hindi ko feel ko na I could have done better, pero hindi ko nagawa. Like for some reason, halimbawa, may gagawin akong task. Tapos, alam ko na ito yung plano, ito yung mas magandang gawin. Pero I chose not to kasi kunwari may kailangan pa ako ibang gawin or tinatamad ako or basta there are other reasons on why I didn't do that level of commitment to a certain task. Tapos sa dulo-dulo pagsisisihan ko siya. Siguro yun yung nakaka-frustrate. Ay, nagpapa-frustrate sa akin. And usually pag ganun, I feel bad about myself lang. Hindi ako naninisi, ganyan. So, it's more of inner conflict. Ganyan. So, what do I do? Actually, hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa ko. Like, siguro may inis lang ako sa sarili ko na dapat ginawa ko to, dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. May pagsisisi, syempre. Kasi sa akin na nga lang nakasalalay yung decision making and yung task mismo, hindi ko pa siya ginawa. So, it's entirely my fault. Pero, at the same time, ina-assure din ako nung mga friends ko and ng family ko na parang if i-repeat yung bagay na yun, tingin nila, hindi ko pa rin siya gagawin. Like, it will not happen the other way around. Like, it will always be like that and wala na akong magagawa. Parang it's more of acceptance and not literally doing anything about it. It's more of accepting na hindi mo nagawa yung best mo and that's okay. Pero on a technical and more practical side, usually inaalis ko yung isip ko dun sa bagay na nagpapa-frustrate sa akin. Halimbawa sa isang task, say for sa subject A, dun ko siya hindi nagawa. Since wala na akong ibang magagawa dun, like yun na yun, na tapos na siya. Gagawin ko na lang yung best ko sa subject B. Ganyan. Parang ibubuhos ko yung kung ano yung dapat yung ginawa ko from another thing to another. Parang ganun. From one thing to another. Kasi wala na yun, hindi ko na siya mababago. And mukhang madali lang siya sabihin na accept mo lang, ganyan. Nainis ka lang, okay lang yun. Pero hindi guys, like I have times na sa sobrang inis ko sa sarili ko, ayoko na. Like hindi na ako kumikilos, ganyan. Hindi na ako gumagawa ng kahit ano. But I realize na kung patuloy akong ganun, parang habang buhay na akong inis sa sarili ko, ganyan. And I wouldn't reach my standards, my own standards of myself and my outputs. If ganun lagi, di ba? Magpatalo ka dun sa side ng personality mo na yun instead of really tackling it and really, coping up with it. Another thing na nakakapag-frustrate sa akin na I really, really find it hard to understand during this pandemic is kapag hindi kasing efficient ng work ko, yung work ng ibang tao. Mukha siyang narcissist tingnan. Narcissist talaga siya tingnan, ang self-centered. Kaya yun din. Kaya doon din ako na-frustrate kasi I expect too much from others just because I do my best. Ang sobrang contrary niya dun sa unang nagpapa-frustrate sa akin. Pero gets ba? Parang because I know that I am frustrated with myself for not doing my best, next time I will do my best. So when I do that, I expect others to do theirs too. Especially if naapektuhan ako. Like for example, sa isang individual task, hindi ko nagawa yung best ko. So na-frustrate ako. Next task is group work. So ito na, kailangan ko nang gawin yung best ko. And when I actually started doing my best. Others were not doing their part at all. So parang yun yung nakakainis na bakit gano'n? Kung kailan naman giyang na ako. Tsaka, I find it hard during pandemic because you really don't know what others are going through behind those screens, behind those Zoom calls and all that. And even if you know, like, even if they're telling you stories and they're explaining to you why they're like that, parang hindi mo pa rin siya fully magagrasp kasi hindi ikaw yung nasa sitwasyon nila. Guess ba? Parang kahit anong story na paliwanag nila, kahit anong valid reasons nila for not doing their fullest effort on certain things, may part pa rin sa'yo, aminado na ako, may part pa rin sa akin na hindi talaga sila naiintindihan. Like, naiintindihan ko sila on a very mababaw level. Like, gets ko yung emotion, gets ko yung ganyan. But when demons come, may part sa'yo na, bakit ganun? Parang may question pa rin na hindi masasagot and it will never be answered because you are not them. Ginagawa ko sa point na yun is, I try to put myself in those situations. Like, iniisip ko, paano kung isang araw ako rin yung hindi makagawa ng best ko? Would it be fair for me to receive the same reaction? Nasisisihin ako or kakainisan ako just because I had things that made me not do my best. Parang will I feel good about it? Will I feel motivated kapag pinagalitan ako? Will I feel inspired? Will I feel that I need to do my best next time kung alam ko na may naiinis sa akin just because I didn't do my best now? So, doon, napapatanong ako na, alam mo yun, parang imbes na mainis ka for the things that they didn't do, try to understand them for the things that you also don't know. Like, you don't know the whole story. So, anong karapatan ko to mainis, to be frustrated on them, diba? Kasi yun na nga di mo alam yung full story. So, why would you conclude on having emotions, negative emotions towards them? Diba? Pero it's all valid. It's all valid to the point na you can be frustrated, you can be pissed, you can be mad at them. Pero not to the point na you will be so close-minded na magmumukhang sarili ko na lang yung iniisip ko. Ganyan. For example, in a group work, may isang groupmate na parang Mia or doing minimal task. Syempre, parang hindi mo maintindihan bakit ganyan. Bakit ganun? You're all doing your part, pero siya hindi. Una, ginagawa ko to confront. Usually, ako yung nagko-confront. Lalo na kung kilala ko siya. Kino-confront ko siya, ano meron? Bakit ganyan. And pag sinabi niya na yung reason, sige, sabihin natin maintindihan ko siya on that particular moment. Tapos, tatanungin ko na siya, like, will you be able to do your task ba talaga? Or if you need help, ganyan. Tapos pag sinabi niyang, yes, I can do my part, pero I need your help on this, ganyan. I will help. Like, groupmates kami, di ba? Group work yung ginagawa namin. It would be nonsense if I only do my part and let them do theirs. Tapos alam mo nang may kailangan na tulong yung kagrupo mo, tapos di mo siya tutulungan. Again, even though nagawa mo na yung part mo, it's your output. It's a group work, okay? Hindi siya yung individual na pinagsama-sama para maging group work. No. It's a group work na pinaghati-hatian yung task. So, regardless if nagawa mo na yung task mo or hindi, if kailangan ng kagrupo mo ng help, you should be willing to help. Diba? And you're also free to not help them. You're also free to say na, ala, sorry, hindi ko siya magagawa, ganyan. And kunwari, ikaw yung nakaka-experience na kailangan mo ng help, you should say agad na kailangan mo ng help. Kasi, maapektuhan yung buong output nyo if you keep on telling yourself na kaya mo, pero at the end, nagagahol ka na, I know na nakakahiya siyang sabihin. I mean, hindi siya nakakahiya, pero for yourself, parang nahihiya kang sabihin na, hala, nagawa na nila yung task nila, tapos ako magpapatulong. Pero, wouldn't that be also selfish if iniisip mo na kaya mo, pero naku-compromise na yung work? In the end, maapektuhan yung buong output, diba? So, it would be better if sasabihin mo agad, ikaw yung kailangan ng help. Then, on the other side, if nangihingi yung members mo yung member nyo ng help, you should be willing to help. Ganun lang din siya. Siguro more on tackling this kind of frustration. I'm more intentional. Like, I go straight to the point. Like, what is happening? What can I do? What I cannot do? And what you should do. Diba? Para hindi na lumaki yung problem. Hindi na lahat ma-frustrate and all that. especially during this pandemic, I try to make myself learn on understanding people. Na in the first place, not all people are like me and I'm not like them. There are differences. Like even before pandemic, we have different personalities and characteristics. So it's really hard to fully understand one another, but the respect should be there. Even though you're frustrated, even though you're pissed, dapat alam natin sa sarili natin na there should always be respect. Especially during the time of the pandemic. So next part na nagpapa-frustrate sa akin is next na nagpapa-frustrate sa akin siguro if hindi malinis yung lugar. Wow, akala mo linis. Pero I think clean is subjective. Para sa akin malinis tong ganito, baka para sa iba hindi, or baka para sa akin madumi yung place mo, pero para sa'yo malinis. It's more about my personal perspective on being clean. Pag ang mga bagay ay on my perspective or on my definition of clean, that's okay. I'm okay with it. Kapag nagulo siya, or kapag hindi siya maayos in accordance to what I like them to be, doon ako ma-frustrate na parang, again, hindi na naman to towards other people. Towards myself din siya. Na bakit hindi ko siya maayos, bakit ganito, bakit ganyan, ganyan. And usually, when I feel like that, I clean. Wow! Ang simple ng solusyon. Hindi, ang gulo. Nililinis ko, inaayos ko agad. Kasi, I fear na baka masanay ako na hindi maayos yung mga bagay, tapos maging okay na lang ako. Gets ba? Hanggang may frustration, hanggat may inis sa sarili mo, actually, mas matuwa ka. Kasi parang, you know that there's something wrong. Or you know that there's something that you should fix or you should do, di ba? Kapag hindi ka na naiinis sa mga bagay na kinaiinisan mo dati, it's either positive character development siya or you became complacent. You compromise things na okay na yan, ganun. So kapag madumi yung isang lugar and I feel frustrated about it, naiinis ako, oo. Pero habang inaayos ko siya, naisip ko rin na, okay, at least still stand up on what I believe clean is. Diba? Parang I still have my standards, I still have the sense of organization. And it goes on the other things, diba? If hindi na tayo nakaka-feel ng frustration, ng pressure, ng pag-worry, dun ka na mas kabahan. Kasi, meaning hindi ka na naapektuhan. Wala na, ayoko na. Diba, nauso yung katagan na wala nang epekto sa akin yung deadline. Pero, ang take ko dyan, hindi mo marirealize na wala nang epekto sa'yo yung deadline. Wala na talaga siyang epekto sa'yo. Gets ba? Hindi mo masasabi na wala nang epekto sa'yo yung deadline kung wala na talaga siyang epekto sa'yo. Kasi in the first place, naisip mo siya eh. You know the definition of deadline. Alam mo yung date. Alam mo yung konsepto ng deadline. Dun pa lang, may epekto pa rin siya sa'yo. Dun pa lang sa parang may isip mo na wala ka ng pake. Dun pa lang sa mismong snap ng finger na alam mong may deadline pero hindi ka gumagawa. Meron pa rin. May epekto pa rin yung deadline sa'yo. Kasi alam mo siya. Nare-recognize mo siya. Na-identify mo siya from all other dates that you have in the calendar, diba? May epekto pa rin yung deadline. Siguro, ang nag-iba lang is the way you respond to those deadlines. Pero you cannot really say na wala nang effect sa'yo yun. Siguro dati, if there's deadline, you suddenly do things. You became aligaga. Ano ba English ng aligaga? Basta yun. You became anxious and you became like that. Just to do things on and before the deadline. Or even past the deadline. A little bit past the deadline, diba? And now, the way you respond to deadlines is, okay lang, kahit lumagpas, ganyan. Pero again, knowing that you know na lumagpas ka sa deadline, may epekto pa rin sa'yo yung deadline. The way you responded changed. But the concept still affects you, diba? Siguro the way you respond now on deadlines is, okay lang yan, gagawin ko na lang. Pero on the back of your mind, you know that deadlines are important. Mas magawa mo man yung task mo on that time or not. You know deadlines. very important, diba? The point is, you become frustrated on things because you care. You can say that you no longer care about deadlines because you still care about them. Kung wala ka ng pake sa deadline, hindi mo marirealize na wala ka ng pake. Gets? Hindi mo masasabing wala ka ng pake sa deadline kung wala ka na talagang pake sa kanya. Like, you won't even remember deadlines, you won't even remember like that, you won't even blah 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 blah, nothing to do with deadlines. But the fact na nag-trending siya, di ba, may era nun na nag-trending siya and it became known na wala na akong pake sa deadline. People still care. Kasi nag-trending siya. And I would be worried again, I would be worried if I don't feel frustration. I would be worried if I don't feel pressure, I don't feel greed, I don't feel anxieties. Trigger warning, sorry. Nahuli yung trigger warning. Diba? Siguro the way I respond differs from one situation on another. Differs in a sense na ano yung cause ng frustration ko. Pero generally, I'm more intentional. I go to the root cause on why I am frustrated and I do something about it. But it's easy to say. It's very easy to say that. Pero before confronting that object that makes me frustrated, maraming internal realizations yan. Maraming existential crisis na bakit ko ba ito nararanasan? Why do I... Okay. Basta I cry sometimes. Almost all the time. Charot. Hindi, I cry when I become frustrated at the maximum level. I cry. It's okay. It's okay to cry for as long as you want. The hell, who cares? Diba? Pero remember na as you go into that black hole of sadness and desperation and all that, I always check if there's someone na naaapektuhan ko na negatively. And if there is someone na naaapektuhan ko na negatively because of my drama, because of my mental health issues, then that's when I start acting up, not just for myself, but for others as well. Like Malina, for me ito ay sariling opinion ko lamang. Lahat ng emosyon ay valid. Pero, hindi sila dapat maging excuse para makapag-burden ka ng ibang tao. If my frustrations towards things, hindi ko sure, if my frustration already affects other people negatively and these frustrations also drag them down, that's when I need to act. Kapag naman wala pang naapektuhan sa frustrations ko, okay lang, bahala na, charing. Kapag walang naapektuhan sa frustrations ko, I assess myself na bakit, anong kailangan kong gawin. This whole frustration thing na naapektuhan lang yung sarili ko, for sure, nasa loob ko lang din yung solusyon dito. And if I can find solutions about this, I open up to my friends. I tell my friends on what to do. I ask my friends on I ask my friends on what I should do, ganyan. Or I ask my brother or my mother, my father, diba? On what I should do. And hindi sila yung gagawa para sa akin. I ask them to help me find the solutions within me. And kung wala akong mapagsasabihan ng ganun, then maybe I should choose my friends, diba? Wisely. Diba? Kung walang makakatulong sa akin na mahanap, hindi to pull me up, like I will pull myself up. Pero kung walang makakatulong sa akin na ipa-realize yun, na I need to pull my shit together, then I should choose my friends wisely. Diba? So, ulit. Going back to the main question isa lang. What do you do when you are frustrated? If the frustration comes from within, yes, I self-loathe. I become trigger warning depressed and all that. And when my depression or my sadness affects others negatively, I know I need to start things up. I know I need to change. I need to assess. I already need to assess my frustrations and the things that make me frustrated. From that, I can be intentional on what I should do within myself. Next, if my frustration is within, but it doesn't affect anyone outside me, I try to work things out within myself in a way na I will assess on the things that make me frustrated, and I make myself realize that since yung frustration na yun ay nasa loob ko, the answer is also within me. And if I cannot make myself realize that, I will ask for help. I will ask for my friends or my family's advice. Let's face it, that's the truth. If your friends are only your friends kapag nagbabalo kayo or kapag nanlilibre ka or anything like that, they're not your friends. They're your charity. They're your charity work. Diba? And don't get me wrong, if your friends also feel the same way na kailangan nila ng tulong, you should always be there for them. Not literally be there na you have to be mentally stable and all that and all shit. Just your presence. Like kahit makinig ka lang or just reply to them na, okay, gets. Kahit ganun lang. Kahit simplest thing lang. Just a basic definition of friendship ay nandun ka. Okay na yun. Next, if your frustration comes from external factors, if my frustration comes from external factors, I become intentional. I target the things that make me frustrated. Like, kung akin siya, bakit? Bakit ako naiinis? Anong meron? And kung wala na akong magagawa, kung tapos na siya, then I move on to the next. It's not easy, disclaimer, it's not easy to move on to the next. But I always make myself stand up because I know that if I don't, malulugmok lang ako and there will be chain of frustrations that I cannot go out from. Diba? I move on. I make bawi. Totoo ang konsepto ng pagbawi. Nabawi ko siya sa ibang angkas or sa ibang subjects. If subject A fails, then do your best to make subject B pass. Ayun, balitat na lang siya. Frustration from within affecting others. Frustration from within not affecting others. And frustration from external factors. And different things, mind you, different types of frustrations or different sources of frustrations require different responses. And different responses, different frustrations are also different from each of our perspectives. Like the things that I do not necessarily apply to you. You don't have to do the things that I do in hopes that your frustrations may go or may disappear. It's different from each person. Magkakaiba tayo. And if I said something wrong in this podcast, if I said na may mga bagay ako na hindi tugma on what you think the steps on doing something about frustrations, then I'm really, really sorry if I offended someone or if I said something wrong. But this is how I do things. And if there's something, you can advise me. I'm very, very much willing to listen. Like, if you think that I can improve on this sense or in that particular situation, I'm very much open for comments. I just don't know how to open the comments on YouTube because every time I open it, after a day, nagko-close ulit yung comment. So, I don't know. Mostly naman ng listeners ko dito ay kakilala ako sa Instagram. So, feel free to DM me. Wow! Pero I hope that you get something from the things that I said. I just know na what the common ground is. Frustrations make us realize things. Kahit maliit na frustrations man yan or not, it makes us know ourselves more. And the way we respond, the way we reflect on these frustrations is a reflection or is a part of our identity. And just like those responses, frustrations are just part of our life. They're not the entirety of your whole being. So you shouldn't let frustrations ruin your life, ruin your day. Instead of letting them ruin your life, do something about them. And again, asking help and being humble, being, aware enough that you cannot do all those things by yourself. You cannot handle your frustrations by yourself. You should know that there are people who are willing to help you, who are willing to listen, who are willing to go through your frustrations with you. And you too, I hope that when time comes that you are stable enough, or even kahit hindi ka pa stable but you know that you can, you should try to also be there for others. Kasi actually, minsan, yung pangangailangan ng ibang tao sa atin, like kunwari kailangan ka ni person A, yun yung nagpapalakas sa atin. Na because we are needed, we are essential, we are worth it, yun yung nagpapalakas sa atin. Na because we know that our friend needs us, our friend can be going through some things, yun yung nagpapalakas sa atin to fight our own battles, di ba? Na kailangan ako na ganito. So, kaya ko tong laban na to. Kaya ko tong harapin, di ba? So, yeah. If ever you need help and you need someone to listen to, I cannot promise that I can give you the best advice there is, but I can say that I'm willing to listen. I'm just there. I'm just here, willing to be your listener. Hindi lang ako yung salita ng salita. I'm also willing to listen to you. So, ayan. I hope that today is the end of the second year, second sem. I mean, the semester 2021-2022. I hope tapos ka na sa sem mo, and if hindi ka pa tapos sa sem mo, be frustrated enough. But, always remember that you can do it. Kaya mo yan. As long as na-frustrate ka pa, ibig sabihin, may kaya ka pang gawin. As long as may paki ka pa, as long as na-identify mo pa ang mga bagay-bagay, may paki ka pa dun. At kaya mo yan. Ayun lang, buyers!